Hey guys, welcome back. This video is going to be called Risk versus Conviction. Risk versus conviction, okay? In my previous video, I talked about, or I asked you guys, what's your next move? What's your next move, right? It's your move. What is it, right? To build wealth in this world, you got to make some moves. What are some moves? Again, we've talked about this, buying houses, doing investments, retirement, college, career moves, etc. Okay, but how are you going to make that move, right? What are you going to do to make that move? Well, you're going to evaluate the risks in your life versus the convictions you have in that move. All right. So let's talk about risks for a little bit. If you got a lot of debt in your life, you got a lot of risk. It's going to be hard to make moves with a lot of debt. All right. So be conscious of that. Have a plan, get rid of that debt so you can make some moves. You never heard about wealthy people having loads and loads of debt when they made their moves. They didn't. It's hard to do that because when you make a move, you're putting yourself at risk of taking a big loss. So debt's not good, right? It increases your risk profile. What else increases your risk profile? Not having enough cash. All right. If you want to lower your risk to make some moves, you better stack cash. All right. I found this YouTuber recently. His name is Robert C. Edson. He's a little raw, but he's got some gold nuggets. And one of his gold nuggets, he emphasizes on every video, it's you got to stack cash. You got to stack cash to make your next move. And it's totally true, man. The more cash you have, the more moves you can make. All right, whatever it is, whether it's buying a house, whether it's a career move, maybe it's a cross-country move, maybe it's retirement. You're gonna need cash to do all those moves because it lowers your risk profile. If you're a risky person, if you like to take risks, you might wanna consider conviction as part of your plan of making a move. So the higher the risk in your life, the higher the risky move is, the more conviction you should have in that move. Now, not every move you make is going to be low risk, all right? Some of these moves you make are going to be high risk, high reward. And what do you need to deal stress-wise about a high risk move? It's important because if you have low conviction on a high risk move, you're going to make a bad decision after you make it. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you take a high-risk move on buying a stock. Let's say it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at $100,000 a coin, right? Let's say your net worth is $500,000 and you're like, I'm going to put 300K into Bitcoin and double my money. That's your plan, right? That's the move you're going to make. You're going to put 300K, more than half your net worth, into Bitcoin. And you don't do much research and you got low conviction on it, right? It's all hype, right? You're going to buy Bitcoin and it's going to go to the moon. It's all hype. Well, what if it doesn't, right? What's going to happen if you have low conviction on that move? Bitcoin, let's say it falls 50, 60%, it craters. What are you going to do? Now your net worth's chopped in half almost. You going to sell out and cut your net worth in half? Or are you going to hold, right? You're going to hold after you made this move. How are you going to hold? You're going to use conviction to make that hold, okay? Now, let's give an example of maybe you're thinking about buying a house. Typically, a house is going to be, for most people, it's going to be a 30-year mortgage, and you're going to have a job to afford to buy a house. That's most of us, right? Not everyone has the luxury of paying cash for a house. Let's talk about that, right? It's a big risk buying a house. You're taking out a loan and you can foreclose on that loan real easily. If your income goes away, you can foreclose on that loan and that's going to kill your credit, and then where are you going to live? You know, you're going to go living with your parents is what's going to happen. So it's a high risk move, buying a house, right? So what do you need to know to buy a house? Well, you can lower your risk by stacking cash, by having more cash than what you need to put down. That's a way to mitigate it, right? But what about your career? Do you have conviction in your career? Are your skills good enough to hold that job? Have you been at the water cooler listening to your coworkers talk about your work? Right? How are things going, right? Talk about your work, right? Is the team in the other department kicking butt, taking names? Are they saying good things? Is the sales department saying good things? That can build your conviction up, right? The higher your conviction is, the higher your risk tolerance is. Maybe you have super high conviction in your career and your job and your skills that you don't even need that much cash to float buying a house. How do you build conviction? Okay? 20 or 30 years ago, it was harder to build conviction. You had less information. You had the radio, TV, and the people you knew. That's all you had. Today, we're in the information age, yo. Okay? We're in the information age. You have all the resources in the world to go build conviction. And what are people doing? They're getting fed by all this noise and garbage information, honestly. The skill you need in this age, in this digital information age, the most important skill that you need to have is to be able to filter, search, and sift through information and interpret that information, okay? You're gonna find YouTubers like myself, like others, like Robert, and like Jeremy Lefebvre, that they're gonna have a lot of gold nuggets, you know, but some of their information you might wanna filter out. You should filter out some of my information too. I got some hyperbole. I'm talking about this AI revolution, right? Some of it might be true, some of it might not be. Filter some of that out. Take what you can from that, okay? You need to be able to read people online, right? You need to be able to read through the lines. You need to be able to have the skills and take what you need. You need to have common sense when you're watching this content. You need to take things with a grain of salt. You also need to listen to people in the real world, not on the digital world, right? The information world. You need to be able to read people talking in your community. Read what's going on. They got important information too, right? It's not just about the information age, right? You got to get out there, see what's going on, be a part of your community, you know? That's another way to build conviction too, right? Listen to other people, listen to wise people, people in your circles that are wise. They're out there, right? You got to find them. Pay attention, listen closely, have some common sense. The people you choose in your social media circles, in your YouTube channels, the people you hang around with, that's going to help you build the conviction. Is Mr. Beast going to help you build conviction on, you know, buying a stock? No, man, he's not. These people that are doing these fancy, long-winded, you know, B-roll edits and BS, don't go with that pre-produced BS, right? That's what you find on the legacy media, is all the pre-produced, scripted stuff. Forget the scripted stuff, man. If you click on a YouTuber and it's super produced and scripted, man, just skip it. Don't waste your time on it. Your time is so important in this information age. There is so much information that you need to be quick at figuring out how to build that conviction, okay? Because you don't have time. Let's say you're going to buy a house. That housing market's always going to be hot. It's never not going to be hot. You need to build that conviction up, whether it's your job, your work, YouTube, whatever, how you're going to do it, in order for you to make that move, right? What if this dream house comes up and you don't have that conviction and you have a little bit of high risk? There's always risk involved in buying a big purchase like that. If you don't have the conviction at the right time, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on that next move. If I would have listened to the legacy media when Tesla was talking about going bankrupt, they were talking about them going bankrupt in 2019. Now, they came close. But if I wouldn't have built up my conviction with YouTubers, good YouTubers out there, I would have never made that move. I would have listened to CNBC, right? Everyone calls them CNBS because they're BS, to be honest. Don't listen to them, man. Like, you can gain some insight. Take the little nuggets from them. Not a lot, but don't waste a lot of time on them, honestly. Go with the authentic YouTubers, honestly. Like, these people out there that don't have a care in the world, they're being themselves. They're talking about real things. They actually care about you. Go find authenticity. That's why YouTubers are blowing up right now, the authentic ones that just do these one-take videos. That's what's happening. You know why that's happening? Because people are building conviction on the moves they want to make based on YouTubers. Okay? That's what's happening. And in general, people like to just see authenticity. They're sick of the AI. They're sick of the pre-produced stuff. I am too, man. I can't stand it. I never click on these crazy, looking beautiful thumbnails. Like my thumbnails are okay. They're kind of cool. They're interesting. But honestly, I like to click on the raw dog thumbnails. It's somebody's face with like barely any text, just the title. I'm good, man. Go with people who don't care about making a living on YouTube. Go with people who've actually made it, who's been successful. Jeremy Lefebvre, man, this guy, dude, he's got some nuggets. You need to listen to him. This guy, Robert C. Edson, he's got some nuggets. Listen to him. There's this other mechanic, I forget his name. Maybe I'll find him and put him in my comments below. He's got some gold nuggets about cars, right? He's like saying, man, all these cars today, they suck. They're all high maintenance, high electronics, all that stuff. You got me, I'm talking about Tesla a bunch. I know a lot about that. And you got people who know a lot about houses, right? I'm not a big real estate person, but go find some good people who have some good insight into the housing market, right? You're looking to buy a house, focus on that. Find some good YouTubers. Don't find the polished YouTubers, man. I'm telling you, the polished YouTubers, it's just like a waste. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's not going to help you build wealth. Look at me. I'm just like the regular dude. I'm doing one takes. The one take YouTubers, man. This is why I like Jeremy Lefebvre so much. He's the one take YouTuber, man. He just set the camera, no edits, no cut. He's got a few cuts here and there, but honestly, that's who you need to find is the one take YouTubers, man. We're out here. We're talking. We're pushing wisdom so that you can build conviction on moves, okay? What's your next move? How are you going to build the conviction up? It's like this, okay? If you're out driving, right? You're out driving and you come up to a busy 5-lane intersection and you're trying to make a left-hand turn, right? You ever see these people that kind of just creep and they creep up and they're looking both ways and they can't make the move, right? Right? What they're doing is they're digesting the information on the road, the speed of the cars coming, how many cars are coming. They're digesting that and they can't make a move. They can't build that conviction up to make that left turn real quick, right? And sometimes you see people, they hesitate, they make the move very slightly, and then they cause an accident, either with themselves or others, right? And then they back up their car and they're like, oh, what'd I just do, right? You know why? They didn't have the conviction to make the move. You gotta build conviction to make the move. And this isn't every day. This is just a couple times in your life. Maybe it's like 10 times in your life. You're gonna make moves career-wise, you're gonna make some moves there. You're gonna make moves in the stock market, I hope. You're gonna make moves, you're gonna have children, hopefully, right? I hope you do. If not, hey, that's a move too. You're gonna buy a house or 2, maybe 3. You're gonna retire someday. How are you gonna build the conviction to retire? Let's talk about that for a second, right? I'm coming up on it, right? I'm 44, coming up on 45, 50, 60 years old. I need to lower my risk to have a higher conviction, or I need to lower my risk so that I don't need a higher conviction to retire, okay? If I have high risk, if I have high debt, and I'm near retirement, I better have super high conviction in my net worth to pay for those debts to retire. It goes hand in hand, risk versus conviction. If you have high conviction, you can take higher risks, no doubt. Like my Tesla position, I'm gonna talk about it again because I know about it. It's a high concentration. I've got like 60% of my net worth in that position, but my conviction is through the roof. It's through the roof, man. I've got super high conviction. I don't need anymore. I don't need to go out and read. I mean, I will say this. I'll take that back. When you're holding a big position like that, you should keep up on it so that you can keep that high conviction, right? Because it's a high risk to my net worth, right? So I do pay attention to things, but I don't pay attention that much on it. I see the trajectory. I don't need a whole lot more to read up on. I know enough about the company. I know where they're going. Now, if things change and I hear something, well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to listen to the legacy media, that's for sure. All they do is dog on it, right? And look where it's gone. It's to the moon, okay? So I don't listen to that. I go and find people I trust. Jeremy Lefebvre, I could trust him, right? If he comes out and he's talking, bearish on Tesla, I'm going to listen to him because I trust him, right? You got to find people you trust and find those gold nuggets. okay? I know this is like a kind of a messy video. I don't know, like I'm probably gonna have to edit it up a little bit. I'm a little bit all over the place on this one, but again, it comes down to risk versus conviction and how you make those moves. This is what wealth building is all about, is making some moves in your life, okay? To build wealth, you gotta make some moves. You gotta take some risks. How are you gonna take risks? You're gonna build your conviction, okay? The mistakes I made in the stock market is because I had low conviction. And guess what happened? I lost money. I lost money in the stock market when I had low conviction. And I had a little bit of risk. I had some big positions, right? And I lost a ton of money. It happens. But I've gained a lot more from the high conviction moves I made, right? So you can make up for your losses by having good conviction in your high risk moves. So remember that, right? You can take some L's in life. As long as your winners make up for those L's and you learn from your mistakes, you learn, right, what kind of risks are, right? It's gonna take you some L's to learn about high risk, high reward, and high risk, big loss, okay? So anyways, and I'm gonna keep making moves, right? You know, I'm gonna be making moves in my 60s and 70s. I don't care, you know, like honestly, I love the stock market. I love building wealth. There's something about it. I'm passionate about it. I love it, man. It's fun. I like to build up information and conviction to make a move and be successful in life. You should want to do that too. It's fun. It's really cool, honestly. So I don't know. I'm kind of ranting there. You know, this video is going to kind of go all over the place a little bit, but you know, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to be raw. You got to talk about what you know, and yeah. So, anyways, if you could take another look at my previous video, this is a little bit scripted, right? Take a look at my previous video where I talked about what's your next move. I asked you guys, what's your next move, right? And why am I holding Tesla, right? It'll tell you all about my conviction. So again, risk versus conviction. Think about it, right? Higher the risk, the more conviction you need. Lower the risk, the less conviction you need, okay? So anyways, thanks for coming and have a great day.